one of the questions was, how do you as a journalist think about being, having ethical in your conversations? And one of the things that I think it's a lot like your question about how do you promote the fight for justice is you just do those things that are right. The only way to be ethical is to be an ethical person, right? Like, you have to have a code of conduct that you personally live by, right? So I would say you don't ambush people. Anybody who I'm interviewing, I tell them, here's what we're going to talk about. If it's something that I think they need to prepare, like, boy, you probably want to know the statistics on such and such because I'm going to ask you about it, like, that's what I'm going to ask you about. You should go research that. If you need to write it down, you're welcome to. You make sure you're editing them accurately and fairly, right? Listen, I can chop up an interview a million ways, or I can say, we're going to run it the way the person said it and give them more time if I have to. All of us have said something backwards. You say it and you're like, oh, I meant, I could embarrass people with things that they've said accidentally, but, morally and ethically, you don't do that, of course. You say, I think you said that backwards. Like, did you mean blah, blah? And they say, oh, shoot, yes, and they fix it because you're there to help educate. So I think when you think about, for me at least, when I think about my show, I think about, I'm not here to catch people. I'm not here to say, ooh, gotcha. I'm here to say, I need you to explain to the audience what's going on. Like, we're here to educate people. And I think it's the same thing when you're thinking about how do you promote, justice is, okay, ask people, well, what does that mean to you? And then that's kind of how you have to live your life. It's very challenging to believe somebody who talks about something but doesn't live their life that way. And so I think that's hard, but I think it's not super complicated. I think you just have to be a person of integrity.